I focused on e-learning development tools for Mac because that's the computer I currently have. I also focused on affordability. As someone who's new to the field, who doesn't have a lot of extra money, I really can't afford to spend a lot on any software program right now. So my research really revolved around A, what can I get working on my Mac, and B, how much will I have to pay to get started on e-learning development? With so many available tools, how do you know what's right for you? Having a Mac is somewhat limiting since generally Macs aren't well supported by e-learning development tools. Sure, you can run Parallels or VMware and install a Windows OS, but what a hassle. Your other Mac software might not work in the Windows environment. So then you'd have to buy an additional Windows version or switch back and forth when getting assets or doing other tasks. Forget it. I'd much rather start out learning with a Mac-friendly tool. I found 3 basic options for Mac users. Working on the cloud, which is web-based, so your browser and internet connection matter more than your operating system, going to one of the free open source tools that work on all platforms, or buying a software program that was designed specifically for Mac. There are lots of cloud-based e-learning development tools available. I reviewed Claro by Domino. If you're interested in exploring other cloud-based tools, please click the More Cloud-Based Tools button for an intriguing list compiled by eLearningIndustry.com. For me, Claro is quite expensive. There's no student login available, and the least expensive entryway will cost you close to $100 a month, or $1,000 if you pay up front for an entire year. But most of the cool features are only available to workgroup or enterprise subscribers. All of the project management features, the multilingual interface, private cloud, and unique domain are all going to cost you $2,500 per year per user. Still, Claro works on all computers, making collaboration very easy. With the built-in permission controls, centralized assets, project and revision management, a complex project with many contributors can go without a hitch, but you'll definitely pay for these features. Claro was designed to look like common office tools, so while it's sparse and easy to understand, it's rather lackluster. They offer a relatively small library of only 30 loaded characters, but you can easily bulk load existing libraries. Claro integrates with YouTube and Vimeo, has screen capturing and screen video recording capabilities, but it seems to me that these features are not as robust as some of the other e-learning authoring tools available. The testing elements seem to be up to industry standards. Claro offers randomization, drag and drop interactivity, and feedback. You can also customize test questions and import existing test assessments. For me, Claro has little appeal. It is way out of my price range and did little to capture my interest. I could only see using it if I had a job that demanded it. Please explore Claro further, though, if you think it's something that could work for you or your organization. An open source option I explored is eLearning. X is free and works on all operating systems using an open XML format. I really like the open source community. Open source developers can be passionate and innovative, and if it catches fire, there's unlimited potential for growth and support. X has good exporting options. Your work can be exported as a standalone website or integrated into an LMS or exported as an ebook. With X, it is easy to share and add content. X was made for academia. It's free, so many underfunded universities and schools can take advantage of this to bring more interactivity into their instruction. X was developed in New Zealand in 2007 and has since mainly been supported by the Spanish National Institute of Technology, Education, and Professional Development. Consequently, most of the forum posts and help videos are in Spanish. X targets the educational community, not corporate trainers. This can be good or bad depending on your objective. I'm not a teacher or a professor, so I would want something more advantageous to getting instructional design work. With X, you can do simple things fairly easily, but the output is less sophisticated than other development tools. You can import other components easily, but this means creating the assets elsewhere, like screencasts, which would necessitate other software toolkits. Their choose-your-own-adventure scenarios were kind of neat. For more about X's features, please check out this video. Another option I explored, which is my preferred option, is having a software program that I can try out and later purchase for long-term use if I like it. As I mentioned, there really aren't too many software packages designed to work on Mac. TechSmith offers Camtasia Studio and Snagit. Both seem like great tools, but they're not a one-stop e-learning development tool. Camtasia specializes in screencasts and video e-learning, while Snagit focuses on screen capturing. If you want to be able to do everything in one place, video, lessons for all devices, screencasting, audio recording, quizzing, and interactivity, Captivate is the way to go. Captivate has a 30-day free trial and a student version at about 1/3 of the price for full versions with all of the features, including an updated library of 25,000 assets. At $350, Captivate is very reasonable, especially when you compare it to other e-learning authoring tools like Storyline, which is currently on sale for $1,400. To run Captivate on Mac, you'll need to have at least the Yosemite operating system. For me, this meant upgrading everything, including many of my software programs, since I had been using Snow Leopard. I upgraded all the way to the latest OS, El Capitan, and created this lesson using Captivate 9. I was very impressed with the many great features, but found the program to be quite glitchy. For example, here's a video from lynda.com on how to add a YouTube video. Pretty straightforward. Does it work? No. You go to the Interactions tab and select Learning Interactions. From this list, select YouTube. I did all of this. I tested the link to make sure it worked, which it did, but the video would never play. I tried everything, finally deciding that if I select autoplay, it would autoplay, but it didn't. I went online and found that many users had problems with this YouTube widget. I learned that you have to publish in HTML5 only for it to work. I tried that as well, but only to get a debugging error message and have my browser crash every single time. Similarly, I added several interactive buttons, hoping my learners could continue to the next slide when I wanted the slide to pause. This did not work either, even though I checked and triple checked all the instructions and copied the tutorial exactly. Such a simple thing. I could never get that to work, so I ended up deleting all of those buttons. The links to the website buttons worked in the preview, but not in the published version. That brings me to publishing. Wow, what a hassle. If you do not have a web server, it seems your only option is to create a video, an MP4, basically, but then none of your interactions will work. This is my first time using Captivate. I was very hopeful and felt somewhat disappointed. For one, I couldn't screencast Captivate itself, only the other software programs I had open. I wasn't a huge fan of the templates or loaded assets. I found the templates very boring and found them difficult to customize. I felt a good amount of frustration doing things over and over and having them still not work or render. Much of what should work didn't. It will play perfectly in the tool, but won't publish or preview. I cleared the cache and got tips online, but also was disappointed that there really weren't very many tutorials for Captivate 9. Most of the Lynda videos are for version 8 and earlier. Overall, I learned a lot exploring all of these tools. I knew nothing before, so I now have a good start and better understanding. I'm just hoping as I go forward that it'll get easier and be less frustrating.